Dear students, welcome back to my channel. In this class, let us discuss about the third chapter, so which is the biggest one and which brings you maximum marks. So that is about 13 to 14 marks. So that is current, electricity. Okay. So you know about the word electricity. What is electricity? Electricity is the branch of physics which deals with the study of electric charges. Isn't it? Electricity is having the two sub branches, static electricity and current electricity. What is static electricity? What is the meaning of this word static? Meaning of the word static is rest. So far we have discussed about first two chapters, isn't it? That is electric charges and fields and electric potential and capacitance. Those two chapters will come in static electricity. Now onwards, so we are going to discuss about current electricity. See, current electricity mainly deals with the charges in motion. Current electricity. Okay. First of all, what is the meaning of this word current? Meaning of the word current is just a flow. Okay, so in nature we can find air currents which is due to blowing wind. So next, water currents. Water current is due to flowing water. Okay, flowing water constitute water currents. Similarly, thermal current. Thermal current, that is flowing heat. Heat flowing in a conductor. So we constitute thermal current. So in this way, so we discuss electric current, which is due to the flow of electric charges. Okay. What is the condition for air current? What is the condition for the air to blow from one point to another point? That is difference in pressure. Difference in pressure. Pressure difference will make the air to blow from or flow from one region to another region. Similarly, water current. What is the necessary condition for water currents? Means water will flow from higher altitude to lower altitude region. So therefore, difference in height mainly responsible for water currents. How about the thermal current? So what makes the thermal current to flow? That is, temperature or heat energy. That is a difference in temperature. Difference in temperature makes the heat to flow from one point to another point. Finally, if we come to the electric current, what is the necessary condition for current to be flow from one point to another point? Means that is the difference in electric potential, or simply potential difference. Whenever there is a difference in potential, the current will start to flow. That is, electric charges start to flow. Whenever there is difference in temperature, heat energy start to flow. Whenever there is difference in height, so the water will flow from one point to another point. Similarly, the difference in pressure makes the air current. Okay. See. Now let's come to the concept of electric current. How to define this word electric current? Please remember, electric current means the time rate of flow of electric charges is said to be electric current. Flow of charges divided by time. Therefore, electric current can be defined as the time rate of flow of electric charges, or simply the rate of flow of electric charges in a conductor said to form electric current. Electric current is denoted by capital I or small I, no problem. So flow of charges, we just take it as Q, charge, time, that is T. Okay, so that is charge divided by time. Suppose if the flow of electric charges in a substance is not steady, it is not steady means we represent instantaneous current. So instantaneous current is given by instantaneous current. It is given by I is equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta q divided by delta t, which is equal to dq divided by dt, or simply d small q divided by dt. So this is the expression for instantaneous current. Current in a conductor at a particular time. Okay, that is instantaneous current. What is the SI unit for this electric current? Actually that is coulomb divided by second, coulomb per second. Otherwise we represent it with capital A, that is ampere. Ampere is the SI unit for electric current. When the electric current flowing through the conductor is said to be 1 ampere, you may get it for 1 mark in your examination. Define 1 ampere. Otherwise, define the SI unit of electric current in terms of charges, in terms of time. Means, see, I is equal to 1 ampere if Q is equal to 1 coulomb and T is equal to 1 second. That is, current flowing through the conductor is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb of charge flows through a given cross-sectional area in 1 second. Okay, in 1 second, if 1 coulomb of charge cross the given area of cross-section of the conductor, means the current flowing through it is said to be 1 ampere. Otherwise, you have this formula Q is equal to Ne, isn't it? So for this Q to be 1 coulomb, what is the value of N? N is equal to Q by E. Therefore, N is equal to 1 coulomb divided by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. So on solving this, N is equal to 0.625 into 10 power 19. Otherwise, if I shift one point to right, then 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. Okay, using this value of electrons, we can also define 1 ampere of current. Current flowing through the conductor is said to be 1 ampere if 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons cross a given area of cross section in 1 second. Like that also we can define 1 ampere. This is the simplest way. Current flowing through the conductor is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb of charge crosses a given cross-sectional area in 1 second. Otherwise, current flowing through the conductor is said to be 1 ampere if 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons cross a given area of cross-section, so in 1 second. Okay, next. Now my question for you is whether this electric current is scalar or vector. Whether it is a scalar or vector, current flowing through the conductor, let it be 2 ampere. So it is having what? Magnitude. Suppose current is flowing like this, 2 ampere of current, then it is going towards east, isn't it? Towards east. Direction is towards east, magnitude is 2. Therefore, it is having both magnitude and direction. It is a not vector. Please remember, though electric current possesses both magnitude and direction, it is still taken as a scalar quantity. What is the reason behind this? Why it is said to be a scalar quantity means because though it is having magnitude and direction, it fails to obey the law of vector addition. Otherwise, simply you can understand like this. 1 ampere of current is coming from this wire. 2 ampere of current is coming from this wire. Therefore, on combining these two, we simply write 3 ampere. It is in accordance with the law of conservation of charge. Okay. 1 ampere means what? 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons per 1 second. Similarly, 2 into 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons divided by 1 second. Therefore, here no charge should waste, isn't it? According to law of conservation of charge, charge is conserved. Therefore, 1 ampere plus 2 ampere gives us 3 ampere, whatever may be the angle between these two wires. Irrespective of this value, the 1 ampere plus 2 ampere will become 3 ampere. Hence, though current possesses both magnitude and direction, we still call it as a scalar quantity. Please remember. Okay, next. Just a few minutes ago, I said the necessary condition for electric current to flow from one point to another point is difference in electric potential. So that is, see, if you connect a 100-volt body to a 10-volt body, otherwise 50-volt body, through a fine conducting wire. It is a body which is charged to a potential of 100 volt. Here is a body which is charged to a potential of 50 volt, for example. Now, the current will start to flow from 100 volt to 50 volt till what? They reach equilibrium condition, that is 100 plus 50, 150, 150 divided by 2, that is 75 volt and 75 volt. It will lose 25 volt and it will gain 25 volt. There will be no loss. Hence, it is also in accordance with the law of conservation of energy. Okay, please remember. So, the current which flows here is called transient current because it exists for only small time interval of time. Okay. So therefore, a current which exists only for few seconds or few time interval or small time interval is said to be transient current. Okay. You might have seen in case of lightning or thunderbolt. Okay. It will last for very few seconds. So that type of current is said to be transient current. Okay, fine. Now, so which are the current carriers in solids, liquids and gases? Any idea? Let's discuss. Current carriers in solids. Free electrons are the current carriers. In liquids, here positive and negative ions. Positive and negative ions are mainly responsible for electric current. So hence these two are said to be current carriers. Next, in case of gases. In case of gases, both free electrons and positive ions are current carriers. In case of semiconductors, what are semiconductors? Semiconductors are the substances or the solids whose conductivity lies between conductors and insulators. So, in case of semiconductors, holes and free electrons are the current carriers. Okay, please remember, actual electrons are different from free electrons, isn't it? If we go to the microscopic view of an atom consists of central nucleus surrounded by various electrons which are revolving in circular orbits, isn't it? So actually, let us take the concept of electric current in conductors. Conductors are famous for free electrons. About 10 power 27 free electrons per meter cube of given conductor, we can see that is approximate value, that is 10 power 27 free electrons per meter cube. So before going to the free electrons concept, let us discuss the bound charges here, bound electrons. So in the last chapter, I have discussed one concept, free charges and bound charges. The electrons present in the inner orbits will be taken as bound electrons or bound charges, isn't it? See, actually in an atom, the central nucleus we can observe, which is a positively charged one, and the electrons are revolving around this nucleus in circular orbits. So here one concept will arise, thermal speed. Thermal speed. The speed acquired by the electrons in the conductors due to thermal energy is said to be thermal speed. Usually at room temperature, the electrons approximately they gain 10 power 5 to 10 power 6 meter per second. This is the thermal speed of electrons. Since a conductor possesses plenty of electrons, approximately 10 power 27 electrons, so that is different from this concept. So thermal speed means the speed acquired by the electrons due to thermal energy or room temperature is said to be thermal speed. See, in your first year PUC, you might have discussed about the concept of in kinetic theory of gases chapter. So there also you have observed the random motion of molecules or atoms, whichever you have considered, isn't it? Each and every atom or molecule, they possess a particular value of speed or velocity. Usually we take velocity. Okay. So for random motion, what is the net velocity? The net velocity will be 0, isn't it? In the same manner, here also, though the electrons possess 10 power 5 to 10 power 6 meter per second speed, the net speed here will become 0, or net velocity here, it will become 0. That is, net thermal velocity of all the electrons in conductors is 0. But whenever a conductor is subjected to strong electric field, the picture will be different. It will vary. In the present scenario, here, though the electrons are having a 10 power 5 to 10 power 6 meter per second, that much of velocity, if you take the net velocity, then it will become 0 because of that random motion. Here what happens, when we connect a conductor to an external battery, which is the source of potential difference, indirectly we are applying electric field in this direction. Okay. Now what happens, the electrons present, since it is positive, we can expect positive here and negative here. So due to repulsion, the electrons starts moving from this end. Say for example, this end is A and this end is B. Here what happens, during the journey of electrons, it will undergo multiple collisions with the other electrons and other atoms present in the substance. See, as a result what happens, slowly they will drift like this in the direction opposite to the applied electric field direction. Okay, so this concept is called drift speed or drift velocity. You may get one question in your examination like this. So define drift velocity. Please remember the average velocity with which the free electrons in a conductor move in the direction opposite to the applied electric field is called drift velocity. I will repeat once again. The average velocity with which the free electrons in a conductor move in the direction opposite to the applied electric field is called drift velocity. Okay. See, here what happens, as soon as we switch on this battery, indirectly we are applying electric field As soon as we apply the electric field, here the electron starts moving from point B to A. It is not straight because so there will be enormous amount of plenty of free electrons and other ions will be there. So as a result, what happens? These free electrons will bombard with them and finally they get very small amount of velocity, which is of the order of 10 power minus 5 meter per second. Okay, usually that is 10 power minus 2 to 10 power minus 5. It depends on the metal actually. Okay, fine. Here the drift velocity means the average velocity with which the free electrons in a conductor move in the direction of a applied, in the direction opposite to the applied electric field direction, is said to be drift velocity. Okay, similarly, suppose this is the first collision and this is the second collision of this free electron. So the time interval between two successive collisions of that free electron is said to be relaxation time. What? Relaxation time. The time interval between two successive collisions of free electrons is said to be relaxation time. It is denoted by tau. It is denoted by Vd. One more concept arises here called mobility. Mobility stands for movement. Okay, actually we define the mobility like this: drift velocity per unit electric intensity or unit electric field can be defined as mobility. Okay, please remember its SI unit is very important. Here meter per second and this is Newton per coulomb, otherwise volt per meter. Therefore it becomes meter, otherwise you can define in a different way, meter square per volt second. So this is the SI unit for mobility. So simplification is left to you. Next, let's come to one 3-mark important derivation. Derive an expression for drift velocity. Derive an expression for drift velocity. See, we know that according to the first equation of motion, v is equal to u plus at, starting from point B. Okay, here what is the initial velocity before applying the electric field? It is 0, and hence Vd is equal to a into t. What is the acceleration of an electron when it is subjected to strong electric field? Simply it is given by E by m, isn't it? Because the force is equal to QE, it is ma QE. Therefore A is equal to QE divided by m. For electron, Q is equal to E. Therefore simply I have directly wrote it as E divided by m. And t before two successive collisions if I take, it means, and it is called tau, that is relaxation time. Therefore drift velocity is equal to E tau divided by m. In vector form, Vd vector is equal to E vector tau divided by m. Is it okay? No, it is not okay, because actually just a few minutes ago I said drift velocity is opposite to the direction of electric field. Hence we have to put a negative sign here. This is the expression for drift velocity in terms of relaxation time. Okay, see, if we substitute the value of if in order to represent the drift velocity in terms of mobility, we put Vd is equal to mu E here. Otherwise, in place of E, Vd divided by mu. Okay, fine. Next, one important 1-mark question. You may get it in your annual examination otherwise competitive exams. What is the effect of temperature on relaxation time and drift velocity? Anta. What is the effect of temperature on drift velocity or relaxation time? Please remember, as temperature increases, more and more free electrons comes into picture, isn't it? More and more free electrons will come and they move randomly. As temperature increases, what happens? So more and more free electrons come into random motion in that particular substance we have selected. Okay, so when more and more free electrons will come means there will be more and more disturbance for that individual electron under consideration, which is moving from one end to another end. Therefore, so what happens? Relaxation time decreases. As a result, what happens? Drift velocity also decreases, like that. So when temperature of the conductor increases, what happens? Relaxation time decreases and hence Vd also decreases. Okay. Anyhow, thanks for watching. In the next class, let us derive an expression for current in a conductor in terms of drift velocity and relaxation time. Okay. Thank you.